Hello! Now that you're familiar with the basic functionalities of the VCE, we'll look into some of the more advanced ones. We will cover triggered emails, working with templates, product recommendations, and more. We're going to build the first email that we'll use in a fast abandon cart tactic that we've already created. With this email, we want to encourage known visitors who have added products to a cart but ended the session without purchasing to complete their transaction. Automation Center programs use emails created from channels, email campaigns, but this tactic is an event-driven interactions program, so it uses emails created from channels, triggered email. Triggered emails are time-sensitive email messages like double opt-in, password reset, and transactional messages after a purchase. They ignore the standard email opt-in. Before I build my abandoned cart email, let's discover the email templates. SAP Emarsys provides pre-built, easy-to-use email templates in every account. These include all our most up-to-date features for email creation. You can copy and adapt these templates to your brand and design. Let's have a look at how you can edit this one. On the Frame Editor tab, you select the doc type for the email and add the HTML code which provides the basic layout of your email campaign. The Style Editor is where you paste in the CSS that will determine the style of your email. You can also see that many elements are marked as variables, which make them editable in the Variables tab. I will show you that later. On the Blocks tab, you can create new blocks using HTML code and also edit, copy, or delete existing ones. You should create a block for every element in your email, including the header and footer. Every content block needs to start with a block-level element like table row, div, or table. You can see that some product blocks are marked with the tag eRepeatable item. These blocks can be repeated to show multiple items, for use cases like abandoned cart emails, wishlist updates, or product recommendations. Let's edit a block. I want to have a pre-built predict recommendations block, so when I create my emails, I just need to drag it in. For that, I copy this block that includes 4 columns with placeholders for images. You can identify these placeholders by the text img src or image source. The value here is what I want to replace in a minute. I make some room at the top and click on the 3 dots to find the Insert Recommendation button. Now I have to set up my recommendation choosing the fields I want to show, as well as the logic, style, and formatting. Once I'm done, I click Insert and I get a line of HTML which I need only temporarily. In this line, I identify the image source URL and copy-paste it, replacing the values of each of the placeholders I already had in the block. Then, if you look closely, you notice this number in the URL. This indicates the order of recommendation. So to avoid repeating the same product, I change the number to 2, 3, and 4 respectively. Lastly, I delete the extra line of code we added, rename my block, save, and go back. The last tab is the Variables tab, where you define default values for those elements marked as variables in the Style Editor tab. For example, you can change the default background color or the font to be used in your template. I change my default font. I can also update any email based on this template with the changes made. Now let's create our abandoned cart email based on this template. The Triggered Email Mail Streams tab lists all mail streams that have been created in your account. You can activate, deactivate, edit, copy, preview, check the analysis of activated mail streams, and delete deactivated ones. I create a new mail stream. First, choose the email type, custom HTML or block-based. I choose block-based email and select my template. In case you created the email via channels, email campaigns, or content block-based templates, you can convert the email into a triggered email by selecting Generate it through an event and on External Event or on Interactions Event as your recipient source. On the email settings, I name the campaign, choose the language of the unsubscribe page, select an email category, and add Google tracking parameters if needed. The BCC feature allows you to receive copies of triggered emails without being counted in the reporting. Note that BCC is not available for broadcast mail streams, but you can add additional email addresses to them with API calls. Instead of the recipient source, you choose the trigger source. External event if you want to use API events for use cases where you don't need an entire program, like order confirmation or password reset. Broadcast event to send triggered emails to contacts who are not in your contact database. For example, terms and conditions updates. Or interactions event to use the email in interactions programs like mine. Now I move to content creation. You're already familiar with most of the features of the content creation. So let's see some advanced features. For my abandoned cart email, I want to use product recommendation with the product source option. Product source is only enabled on those blocks that were created with the eRepeatable item tag. They will dynamically replicate themselves based on the options we select, to include personalized product recommendations. You can choose from two options. Personalization rule gives you the freedom to create your own recommendation rules using business-specific filters. I'll come back to this later. And product set uses a predefined set of use cases like price drop, back in stock or abandoned cart, which is our use case. Below you, define how many products you want to show in this block. Now, I insert my abandoned cart recommendations with the personalization tokens from the product catalog section. I add the title and the description of the abandoned products. I put the price on the CTA button and add the link. The image can also be added via personalization as well as the link behind it. As Contact Preview supports personalization rules, you can check your recommendation results on individual contacts without excluding already purchased products. Going back to personalization rules, you can only use this option on batch email campaigns like one-off limited offers, birthday or win-back programs. Since our use case runs with an event-driven triggered email, we won't be able to use personalization rules this time. However, I still want to show you how it works on a different use case. Personalization rules enable you to tailor the recommended product set to your business needs. These rules are set up in this separate menu. I can see all the rules I've previously created, edit, copy, or delete them. When creating a new rule, first I select my base product set. I choose Global Popularity, which is a general list of the most popular products from my product catalog, including the most viewed and most purchased items in the last 90 days. I name my rule and add the filters I need. I want products with a price larger than €10 from my category Deals. I also make sure that all my conditions are true and that I exclude any products my contacts purchased recently. Once I save my changes, I can see some sample products on the right. I'm happy with that, so I go back to my email. These rules are then inserted in the same way as we added the abandoned cart product set, but selecting the personalization rule instead. Then you add all the different placeholders by using personalization tokens from the product catalog section like before. Let's go back to our abandoned cart email and create different language versions. Sending them in one campaign saves you time. Max is a German customer. The language we use to contact him is based on the IETF language tag field in his profile, which you have to populate. On the Languages tab, you can make copies from your original email. If none of your defined languages match your contact's IETF language tag, or that field is empty, the master language will be the fallback version. For triggered emails, you need to use a specific from email address on the Email Basics tab. If you don't have one, you need to reach out to Emarsys support to help you create one. On the scheduling step, you can then activate or deactivate the mail stream. I activate my email. I can add the triggered email to my interactions program at any point, but I won't be able to launch the program unless my email is active. All I've got left to do is make sure that all the other assets, such as segments, messages on other channels, and so on, are also ready before I launch my program. On the home page, the Triggered Email Report widget provides you daily results of delivered, canceled, and bounced emails. Below, you can access further reporting on canceled emails and bounces. And those were examples of some of the advanced functionalities of VCE. I hope you enjoyed today's session.